Hi, my name is Kwame, and I'm the staff attorney and program manager for the LegalCORPS Entrepreneurs of Color program. And today, we've been honored to have Tom Larson with Prepare and Prosper join us. Prepare and Prosper is a really cool organization, and a lot of the entrepreneurs that have received services from us usually want to know, Kwame, where can I find tax assistance? So Prepare and Prosper does taxes and stuff. I'll let Thomas on here. I'll let him talk a little bit about that. Today we're going to have just a short session. We just want to talk a little bit about what his organization does, the Schedule C, because a lot of you business owners use the Schedule C form, and a lot of people don't know what it is or what it does. And then the last thing is, I'll ask him about, with the PPP loans and stuff that came in, are there any tax forms that you should start thinking about now that you're about to start filing your taxes? Before I have him jump in, I'll just say briefly, for those of you that don't know what LegalCorp does, LegalCorp assist small business owners with non-litigation business legal services. So if you're a small business and you needed an attorney to help you write a contract, if you had any business legal questions, you could call us, you can talk to one of us. We help small businesses, we help inventors, and then we help nonprofits. And I'm the program manager for the Entrepreneurs of Color program. So my program primarily focuses on people of color, entrepreneurs of color, and the unique business legal services that they need and how to get those services to them. That's a little bit about us. I will let Tom tell you a little bit about his organization, and then we'll go from there. Thanks again for being able to join us today, Tom.
It's a pleasure to be here, Kwame, and I always enjoy working with you. One note here, too, for any Spanish speakers, we'll be doing this same thing in Spanish next week, if that's your language of choice. Prepare and Prosper is we're celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. We originally started out as an accounting aid society for small businesses and then branched off into individual tax preparation as well as our self-employment program, which I'll talk some more about. Prepare and Prosper does advocacy at both the national and state level. We also have financial services, a Money Mentors coaching program, fair financial access and reach for everybody, which people can open up checking or savings accounts regardless of past banking history. And then we have our tax services also. With our tax services, we serve individuals, okay, that make $35,000 and under, families $55,000 and under, those are the income caps, and for the self-employed, it's also $55,000. The program I work with is our self-employment program, and we focus on serving entrepreneurs like you in a variety of areas. We've had people that work as videographers, writers, daycare operators, construction workers that are independent contractors. We have a psychic or two, people that are dog walkers, and also performing artists. So we see a variety of people. What we have in common with them is that in this new virtual world, we're trying to do virtual appointments where people sign in using Zoom and then also would download documents via a virtual Dropbox. Let me talk some more about entrepreneurs and what we can do for them. With our program, and we'll talk about that, is people do Schedule C. And we have an example about that. I'll talk about that in a little while. And that's profit or loss from a business. And the people who can do that are independent contractors, sole proprietors, and single member LLCs. And why those three groups? Those three groups can do Schedule C and attach it to Form 1040, which is the main form. So you don't need to do a corporate return or a partnership return. And we serve people that are self-employed, no partners or employees. They may contract out for somebody else, contract labor, that's fine, but no employees or partners for that. How it works is you would come in, make an appointment, we do it on Zoom, download documents, try to prepare the return that at that time. If not, do it later, have somebody review it, and then arrange for delivery via an encrypted email with a copy of your tax return, and then also getting back from you an electronic signature using an app like HelloSign. I think, Kwame, should we go into the forms now and talk about
Sure.
income
So
sources?
I have the form. Let me share that with our viewers. So this is the Schedule C, and this is the form that Tom is talking about. A lot of small business owners.
Have we been recording this whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's go in here. We're at the top of Schedule C, and we'd have the name of the proprietor, and that would be you as the taxpayer. Your A is principal business or profession. What do you do? Musician, daycare operator, construction, etc. Business name. You may not have a business name, okay, or you may. And if you want, many people talk about DBA, doing business as, and Kwame can certainly answer a question on that one. Your business address, if different than your home address, okay? And F, accounting method. All of our clients, and I mean all of them, are on cash accounting. And what that means is with cash accounting, if you receive money in December, you report it for that tax year. If you would receive compensation in January, even though you did the work in November and December, that would be in the next tax year. That's how cash accounting works. You record the cash, report it, when you receive it, and the same thing for the expense, okay? G there, did you materially participate in the operation of the business? If you work the business, in the business, you do, okay? And then there's some other questions there too about if you acquired the business in 2020. And I there, if you look at it, did you make any payments in 2020 that would require you to file Form 1099? And this year, again, it's at 1099. NEC, non-employee compensation. How that would work is, again, say you're a carpenter
Mm-hmm.
and you have a big job and you bring in another carpenter to help you finish that job. This is someone else who's also an independent contractor. Once they hit $600, you need to issue them a 1099. It's pretty easy to be done. There's a form called 1099 Tracker. Excuse me, that's an app that will generate the forms, and you can generate up to 4 of them for $4.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Kwame, did you have a question?
No, no, I was surprised that was that cheap to get the 1099s done with that app.
Yeah. Yeah, we've used it on the spot in previous years doing taxes, and it works quickly and efficiently. Okay, income here. Gross receipts or sales, that would be the total money brought in just from your business. Not too many of our clients have returns or allowances. Cost of goods sold down on line 4 is if you sell product. And I'm not going to go into that. And that truly is people with inventory. If you're selling goods from like Avon or Herbalife and you have drop shipping, that's not inventory because it goes straight from the distributor to the customer. So you're not maintaining inventory. Having a little bit of product on hand, that is not inventory either. Gross profit after doing the calculations for 1 through 5, and then other income. And that brings up something that is very relevant this year with all the grants coming out. So far, what we know on one that I'll talk about, the Paycheck Protection Program, is that you do not need to include the income, okay, on your income statements or tax return but you can deduct the expenses that you with for which you used money from Paycheck Protection Program to buy. So that is really quite advantageous. It's really contrary to accounting rules that you don't report the income, but you can report the expenses, but it's a nice benefit. So there's your gross income. There are some other things too, the local grants that some people have had. Those, most of them, and talking with my volunteers, and we've got great volunteers, CPAs and tax attorneys and financial professionals that really know this. We're not seeing grants that are excludable from income. If they're for the business, okay, they're very likely to be included, okay? What else I was going to say on that one? There is another one that was a grant, disaster injury protection loan, I believe it was called. There's an advance on there of $1,000. And from what we've learned, people have been told that that is taxable. So you add it all up, and that's your gross income.
Okay.
Going on to.
Can I ask a quick question?
Oh,
So,
all you want.
so just to clarify, so with the income, if like last year I owned a small business and like Hennepin County was giving out a lot of these small business grants, what you're saying is that those grants are income.
Yes, they are. And
Okay.
I'm glad you brought that up, because there are provisions in some of these grants where they're loans, okay?
Okay.
And that has not been updated. Normally, loans do not go on your tax return as
Okay.
either income or an expense. The interest you pay on a loan, yes, but some of these, I'm not sure they even have interest. But the loan forgiveness and all that, to be decided whether it's to be included as income.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Is
thanks.
that clear enough? Any clarification needed on that, Kwame?
No, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I'll talk about expenses here, and these are the expenses for your, okay, it says here there's a whole bunch of them, and there's advertising, car, truck expenses, commissions and fees. There's a whole bunch of them in there, and I'll talk more in depth about that when we show you our self-employment tax organizer, which has all of these, and our organizer is based on Schedule C. Okay, scroll down a little bit, please. Not so much, just the bottom of the page one there, Kwame. On that one, we've got expenses there, and then below that, you have tentative profit or loss, and then below that, some areas for business use of the home, which I will talk about more when we get to our organizer. Okay. This is cost of goods sold. Now, this is if you truly do have product to sell, okay? I'm not talking about you burn 5 CDs, you're a musician, and then you know, sell them. That's pretty small amounts. You could get away with expensing that, which expensing just means list the expense on the tax return. I'm not going to talk about cost of goods sold too much, because there's only very few of our clients truly do have that. Okay. Now, down on part 4, this is information on your vehicle. What we do at Prepare and Prosper is deduct business mileage. We get questions about, oh, can I deduct my auto insurance and all that? No, the way to go is that if you use your vehicle for both business and personal use, then you should do business mileage. And I'll talk some more about that and explain some examples, some scenarios on that, and what else you can deduct in addition to business mileage. But again, it's going to be business mileage, no purchase of new tires or a new battery or car washes or anything like that. Some of that will be an exception for Uber drivers that use their vehicle for business. But again, this is the way to go. It's simpler. And you can use apps like Everlance or MileIQ, and they give you a certain number of uses per month. Like MileIQ is 40 before they even charge you. Okay. On other expenses there, this would be all those miscellaneous expenses that weren't covered above. So Kwame, if you could show us the tax organizer, we can talk a little bit more about, and you can leave that up for a second too. We could talk a little bit more about that. We talked about Form 1099 NEC, that which is just up there, and that's what you'll be getting. You'd be getting the 2021.
Okay. Cool. So this is the form you're talking about, right?
Yeah, we just happened to copy the 2021 one, but the 2021 is exactly the same.
Okay.
What's new in 2021 or tax year 2020? We're trying to do everything virtually or a drop-off program. We have people drop off documents, maximum of 15 minutes. Under introduction, we talked about how this organizer is based on Schedule C, and then eligibility up above. Okay. There is what we are: independent contractors, single member LLC, sole proprietors. We don't do returns for corporations, partnerships, anybody with employees, taxi drivers, clergy, or day traders. Okay. And over on the right there, it talks about how to do the form, what's needed for an appointment, and much of this would be needed regardless of where you go to get your taxes done. Okay. And Kwame, you can go down to the second page on there. Okay. We talked about your basic information before: name of your business, if you have one, separate business address, and when you started. On the income section, we referenced 1099 NEC. 1099K is what you get from PayPal or Visa if you use a third party to be paid with. And then they would generate a form, and that would be payments given to you, okay, as business owner. And usually 1099Ks are issued after 200 transactions or $20,000 in compensation received through that third party. Again, not unusual, but not common. On the next line, it's total cash credit card payments to you, things that didn't come through on a 1099K or 1099 NEC. Many people serve private parties. They'll never get a 1099, so that's where they need to total up their cash. The other income we talked about: if you have a business grant, whoever's doing your taxes, bring it in, tell them what it is, and it may have to be listed. Another suggestion on this too, that we highly recommend that people keep separate business accounts to simplify your finances, and your deposits into these accounts should match or come close to your total gross income. The next one there is estimated tax payments. Once you start making some money, estimated tax payments are a good idea. And the reason for that is self-employed people, unlike employees, have to pay 100% of Social Security and Medicare taxes. And that's where people get surprised with a bill. Some people not making a lot of money, but still might owe the self-employment tax that's on the form. And what that is Social Security and Medicare. And the self-employment tax could be renamed the Social Security tax. This tax, I always tell people, is a good thing. This is your contribution into Social Security and Medicare accounts for further qualifying for Social Security and the Social Security pension and Medicare medical insurance. So unlike just paying taxes, general taxes that go into the general revenue fund, self-employment tax are earmarked for your account. Okay, it's a good thing. Expenses there: advertising, contract labor. You have somebody else who's also another independent contractor help you with a job. commissions and fees. We have a number of interpreters. They have to pay a fee to be in an interpreter roster, okay? Health insurance premiums in your name or the name of the business can be up to 100% deductible. Business liability insurance that we highly recommend. I say get your insurance, and then if you want to form an LLC or whatever, go talk to Kwame on the LLC. Business licenses, a cosmetologist may need a license, or a real estate agent. Sales tax paid to state, and this is where some of our clients get caught. People cleaning houses or businesses are subject to sales tax. It's a taxable service. So if you have any doubts on that, check with the Minnesota Department of Revenue Use and Sales Tax Division about whether your service is taxable. Obviously, if you're selling stuff, you're going to have to pay sales tax. Business meals are normally with customers or traveling, okay? Legal and professional fees. Kwame provides solid gold service, but he doesn't charge. If he were to charge, this would be under legal and professional fees, lawyers, accountants, etc. Office supplies, an obvious one, rent of space or equipment, and that could be something as simple as a barber rents a chair in a hair salon. That is rent of space. Or someone has a kiosk at a shopping center. That is rent of space. And equipment is also a painter has to rent expensive scaffolding for a large paint job. That would be another deduction. And of course, repairs and maintenance of your equipment. Other supplies, interest on business loan or credit card, and business travel away from your home. Okay, that would be hotel, rent a car, meals, and then utilities. If you have, say, to pay utility costs for your kiosk, or again, the barber at a chair has a small electrical charge in addition to renting the chair. Okay. The next one, we're going to talk about other expenses. And this is kind of a catch-all category for all those miscellaneous expenses not listed above. You could have professional education, and that is wide open. It does not have to be an accredited school or anything like that. It could be you go to Women Venture to take a marketing course, okay? You're a healthcare provider and you need to be certified in CPR and first aid, that would go there too. It could be a variety of things. You could work any business and say you take a course on QuickBooks for the self-employed, okay, that would be professional education. The next one, we get a lot of questions about clothing, okay? And clothing, people say, well, I need to dress very formally for my job. Does that count? No. If you can wear the clothing off the job, it very likely does not qualify. This is targeted for people that need steel-toed boots, okay? For a construction job, a welder needs a heavy-duty face visor. Also, gloves for working outside, that sort of thing for welders. And uniforms are an exception to that. And that could also be a barber who has a smock, or a massage therapist. We get a number of them too, where they're using a smock, okay, while providing services. Dues or publications for professional organizations. Say you're an accountant, you belong to Society of CPAs. Parking and tolls, okay, when you go on your business runs and you have to pay parking or tolls. And then one of our favorite categories, other, okay? You're going to have expenses that are not identified here, so let them know. Communicate well to your tax preparer, and they can always tell you, yes, this is a deduction, this isn't. Postage and freight, pretty obvious. Telephones. Second landline into the home, yes. First landline, no, but most people are doing cell phone for business, and you can deduct the percentage used for business. You can prorate that, and that would be the deduction you have. Okay. On the next one, if you could scroll down a little bit, I'm going to talk about vehicle information here. Okay. The IRS wants to know, excuse me, when you first use the vehicle for business, the very first time, okay? And then mileage. Mileage, we need to know business miles, commuting miles, or personal miles. And you may ask, well, what's the difference? Okay. Business miles are from one work site to another, okay? And that could be as simple as a carpenter leaves his home, he does not have a home office, goes to Menards to pick up wood for the trip for his first customer stop, and from Menards goes to the customer home. That is business miles. Okay. Commuting miles would be from his home to Menards, and personal miles, going to visit friends, going to the supermarket, whatever. Okay. And as it says down there below that checkbox, your first trip from home to a work site and the last trip from work site to your home are considered commuting miles. Okay. Legs of that trip involving your home, unless you have an office in the home and are not deductible business miles commuting. Business miles are from one work site to another work site and are deductible. And if you have business use of the home, a space in your home that you use exclusively for the business, you've created a work site. So then you don't have commuting miles because there is no commute, because you're going from a work site to the job and then back. That would be business miles, all of them. I hope that's clear enough. Kwame, is there any clarification you think that's needed on that?
No, I think it makes sense. So if you're at home, if you have a home office, then you really don't have commuting miles because you're not commuting to the office. But you could be using your vehicle for something business related, right? Like going to buy stamps in my case, or running to the courthouse or whatever.
Exactly. Okay.
Right.
So again, if you don't have business use of the home, but in your case, say you do have an office but doesn't qualify because it's not exclusively used for the business, you go to the post office to mail out invoices and all that stuff for your business, and then drive to the courthouse. From the post office to the courthouse, those would be business miles. If
Mhm.
you do have an office in the home, then you can forget commuting miles because you don't count them because you don't have any. But we need to know, tax preparers, the business miles and commuting miles, or business miles and personal miles. And then there's some other questions there too about, do you have another vehicle? Is your vehicle available for personal use? Do you have evidence to support your deduction? And then is the evidence in writing? So again, use those apps. They work well. I think even QuickBooks for the self-employed has an app you can download that will also track miles. Okay.
Okay. So we have about 5 minutes left.
Okay. So there's major purchases. And if you buy a computer, say a MacBook that costs $1,500, you have some options for depreciating that. And depreciation is just recovering the cost of that purchase in 1 year or over a series of years. Okay. I'll leave it at that and go on to the next part. Okay. As you can see, the office and the home here, we need to know area used for business or storage. If you're a painter and you wall off part of your garage for paint supplies, ladders, and that's all it's used for, you also have business use of the home, even though your office in the home might be used by you and your kids and all that, you would still have that space of the storage that would count for business use. We would need to know that, and then the total area of the house or apartment. And then with that, these other expenses, and I'll talk about renters here, renter, homeowners insurance, rent, utilities, etc. If you have 100 square feet for business use of the home, 1,000 square feet total of the apartment, that's going to be 10% of the apartment is used for business. So you're going to get 10% of these expenses will be deductions because you need them to run your business. Okay. On the last part, that's products sold by direct seller. Again, somebody with inventory. The key thing on this one is you need to track your inventory at the beginning of the year, any product purchased during the year, any additions to it, and then your inventory at the end of the year, and what you sell is the deduction. Okay, not if you truly do have inventory, it's what you sell that is the deduction, not what you purchase or have on hand. I'm going to stop it there. And Kwame, do you have any questions you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, just one quick one, which is um, PPP loans and stuff just confused a lot of people. They didn't know what, a lot of business owners didn't know what it was going to take to qualify. A lot of people got denied and stuff. And so that was a very confusing thing. Do you think that doing taxes this year would, with the money that came in, could there be something that business owners should be looking out for? Like I received some documents in regards to some of the grants that were provided, especially like for business owners in Hennepin County, because my law firm is in Hennepin County. But apart from that, do you see anything weird or crazy or something that business owners should be looking out for on this year's taxes as opposed to the previous years?
Yes, the grants. Okay.
Okay.
As that economic injury disaster loan, that one had an advance, even though it's labeled a loan.
Okay.
And one of my customers was told very clearly that this advance, okay, is taxable.
Okay.
I believe it would be taxable because it does not have to be repaid. With the
Okay.
loans there, the jury's still out. Had to use that metaphor because I'm an
Okay.
attorney. The jury's still out, and that's kind of the craziness on that. What is going to happen with forgivable loans? No decision has been made on that. One other thing on the Paycheck Protection Program, I will repeat, if you use monies from that for expenses for your business, you can deduct them. And that's brand new. That is something that is unusual. And as I said, it's contrary to general accounting practices because normally you're going to have to report the income, but in this case, you don't, but you can deduct the expenses, which is definitely advantageous. Another thing too that people should not be surprised at is that unemployment compensation in this past year, that was new. There were special programs put in place that allowed self-employed people to get unemployment compensation. And all of that, one of them was labeled PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, all of them, and whatever brand of unemployment insurance it is taxable, okay? There's no escape from that one.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I'll just go ahead and wrap up then. Again, today we met. I'm from LegalCORP, and we had the honor of having Tom talk to us a little bit about taxes, specifically the Schedule C, and some of the things to think about as a small business owner this tax season. If you're a small business owner out there and you have, business tax questions, you can call Prepare and Prosper to figure out, if you qualify for their services, and if you do, they might be able to assist you with your tax issues. If you have business legal issues, definitely call LegalCORP, and we should be able to assist you. If not, we can definitely point you out in the right direction. Please visit our websites and check out the different services that we offer. Again, thanks for viewing this today.
Kwame, I'd like to add that you can check out our website, prepareandprosper.org.
Okay.
Some of our business tax tools are available off the website. I send out the CETO to people that don't come to us for services. It's just that useful. And also the phone number is 651-262-2169. And that is a line to leave your name requesting services, and we'll get back to you. Unfortunately, our capacity has been severely reduced with the pandemic issues and maintaining health standards. So I just want to put that at the forefront.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Tom.
As I said, it's a pleasure to collaborate with you, Kwame.